The Hollywood trades are desperately trying to save Jimmy Kimmel's career with Disney. But now insiders at the House of Mouse say time just might be up. Today we'll tell you why Josh D'Amaro, new CEO of everything Disney, is waiting till the right moment, and the decision for Jimmy has yet to be made. It's a great day. It's a groovy day. Welcome back to Somewhere Sunny USA, folks, where the sun is always shining and the news is always firsthand and ready to go. As we dive in today, click on that like button, and we have much to say about whether or not Jimmy Kimmel is staying or going at Disney. Things are getting very spicy over at Disney as they're trying to decide what to do with Jimmy Kimmel, and Hollywood is pressuring Disney not to do what Disney just might do. From the U.S. Sun, provided us by LW Ghost, this one by Jessica Finn. It matters a ton, ladies and gentlemen. Do not believe anything else. Go with this. Trust me, you'll see why. ABC chiefs are ready to pull Jimmy Kimmel Live and have already spiked promo ads over his Melania widow comments. Now, what you need to know is we looked into this before we ran this segment, and it does seem true that Disney is removing the promo ads. Why does that matter? Well, if you're removing the promo ads at a time such as this, well, hang tight. We'll get there. ABC execs are ready to pull Jimmy Kimmel's show again over the late night host's controversial comments about Melania Trump. And insiders, a.k.a. people from inside Disney, tell the U.S. Sun that this time it could be for good. Yes, Jimmy Kimmel came back and was defiant. We all watched it. We've talked about it. We reported on it. But don't believe for a moment that the decision is final from Disney. ABC affiliates around the country have already been ordered to drop promotional clips for the show after the First Lady hit back at Kimmel for branding her an expectant widow on April 23rd. Let me say it again, because we're going to go to the Hollywood trades and they're going to try to make you believe something different than what's really happening. Again, ABC affiliates around the country have been ordered. This is breaking, folks, right now. Have been ordered to drop promotional clips for the show. The scandal also comes at a crucial time, and this is what I was talking about just a second ago. At a time such as this, the scandal also comes at a crucial time for the network's advertising revenue, meaning Disney could take the easy way out by pulling him, the sources to the U.S. Sun say. I mean, they're claiming it. They're claiming they got an insider telling them, leaking this to them. An ABC insider exclusively told the U.S. Sun, quote, stations which carry ABC around the country were told to pull Kimmel's slated promos from their lineups this week. The move to pull Kimmel completely seems imminent. We'll come back and read more of this in just a minute, but let me go first then to Lauren. Lauren, as we are seeing this happen, this is not what we've been told by so many out there. They're saying Disney was so bold to put him on there and ignore the Trumps. Lauren, it's looking like behind the scenes, things are moving in a different direction. Your thoughts?
Well, I don't think that this is really just an issue with the Trumps anymore. I mean, they're going to push back on Kimmel, and they're right to do so. But look at it from Disney's perspective. They already gave him another chance after he screwed up last time. And it's real easy to avoid landmines if you want to. Kimmel doesn't want to. He wants to continue being this foil in his mind to Trump. Now imagine how Disney's going to look if it turns out that the next person that tries to do something like this succeeds. Disney does not want that. And I think that people are now starting to call on Disney proper as opposed to complaining directly to ABC. When it starts reflecting on Disney, they're more sensitive to that. And there's another factor at play here, and that's that Josh D'Amaro is now the CEO. This is his first real leadership test, and you don't want to appear to be weak. And I'm afraid right now, if he does nothing, that's how he's going to appear. This gives him an opportunity to say, the buck stops here, I'm the boss, and I'm going to put a stop to this. And I think that may work out better for him than just letting Kimmel run.
Variety is running this article that says Disney stands its ground in the face of Trump's Jimmy Kimmel temper tantrum and FCC harassment. And Tom, what they do in this article is they basically brag on Disney that Josh D'Amaro is not doing what Bob did 6 months ago, that Disney put him on the air. They've not made a comment. They're not doing anything. They're just playing this, as if nothing happened. And Variety is very proud of them for that. They're very happy with them. What is happening, though, Tom, it seems to me, is that no decision has been made. Variety is already celebrating the decision they want to be made, hoping that will force Disney's hand. Tom, is that going to play out this way, considering we've got now evidence that promos are being pulled, and even the FCC is stepping in? PJ Media says this could be really bad news for Disney. We'll walk through this in a minute. But Tom, your thoughts on all of this and Hollywood just fighting tooth and nail to make sure Disney keeps Jimmy Kimmel on the air?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like, okay, this is a really complicated animal to break into. Now,
break into it, Tom. You're the only one who
can. The head of the FCC was using a bit of a scare tactic last time, because as a lot of us had pointed out, at the end of the day, a lot of what would probably have happened to Jimmy and ABC would have amounted to just a couple of fines, basically. Because if y'all remember, even as far back as things like when Janet Jackson accidentally exposed herself on the Super Bowl, that was just like a few fines at the end of the day, even though they made a big stink about it. This is a bit different, because now we've gone past all that stuff. And there was maybe kind of that air of, okay, sure, maybe we misunderstood what Kimmel said, fine, whatever. At the end of the day, and we do have freedom of speech in this country, that is true. But this gets to a point where it's like, where does bad taste come into play here, where the public can finally say, okay, enough's enough? Especially 2 days before this happens and the type of joke that was made. Now, this is the second time he's made a joke of this type.
Right, about the death of the president. Now, he's tried, Tom, he's tried to come in and say, well, it's about their age difference. It's like jokes about the president's
French, exactly.
Yeah, jokes about the president's death. It's not funny when Biden's in office. It's not funny when Obama's in office. We don't joke about the death of a president. We certainly don't joke about the death of the spouse. No, it's not a good taste.
Well, I mean, even back, I was just going to say, I don't even remember this ever being a problem throughout history. Sure, you had your tit for tat with certain presidents and candidates and stuff like that. But I don't ever remember this much of a separation before. At least when like Reagan won, there was an air of respect for Reagan. Right. You know, when Clinton won, he even got respect. You know, so like, I don't understand this. You know, Obama, if we didn't respect him, you had to hear about it. So why is it all of a sudden okay for an entire nation to disrespect the president like they have? And I've never even been the biggest Trump fan, to be honest with you.
Sure. We're not making, it's not a pro-Trump thing. It's not an anti-Trump thing. It's
exactly.
Jimmy Kimmel
a decency thing. Yeah.
He's left all decency. He's completely off the rails. Here's what makes this week so interesting. It says from The Sun, making ABC's delicate situation even more precarious, the insider explained that sweeps begin this Thursday. Sweeps are when TV viewing data is collected each quarter to set ad local and national advertising rates. A second source, who is a veteran industry insider, said sweeps usher in an all-out race for ratings, making the timing for pulling Kimmel disastrous. The insider predicts ABC parent company Disney will eventually cave to the administration's demands to avoid an exodus of advertisers during this critical window. In other words, Disney has not made any comment, because, and by the way, not in favor of Kimmel, pay attention to that. They've not made any comment because they need to get the ratings for sweeps, and then they can do whatever they're going to do, according to The Sun. Now,
Are
Lauren,
sweeps even still a thing?
I suppose so. Lauren, you've been able to pull up the Variety article. Would you put that on the screen for us? We've been working hard to get that one actually to play. Lauren, would you just read us the first two paragraphs of this, please? So, folks, Michael Schneider, the author here. Go ahead, Lauren.
Had to remember to hit the unmute button. When it comes to the barrage and nonsense coming from this White House, sometimes no response is the best response. Disney has clearly learned its lesson from last year's Jimmy Kimmel media firestorm when it temporarily benched the late-night host in the wake of threats from FCC Chairman Brendan Carr. As Carr continues to weaponize the agency to take on critics of Donald Trump, his actions have even earned him rebukes from his own party, including Senator Ted Cruz. What's more, Trump's demand that Kimmel be fired over a monologue joke rings especially weak, given some of the president's often divisive and violent rhetoric.
Now, I want to clarify that we are not the kind of channel that just blanket supports President Trump.
Bring that back up.
When President Trump made commentary about Rob Reiner, we came out and said, this is beneath the presidency. There have been other times when President Trump has done and said things. There was the painting that semi-depicted him as a messianic figure of Jesus. And we said, that's not wise. Pragmatically, it's not doing him any good. So we try very hard to call balls and strikes. In this case, Tom, Jimmy Kimmel clearly crossed the line, and it makes advertisers exceedingly squeamish. We can talk about the FCC and all that sort of thing, But if you're Kleenex, if you're Mr. Clean, if you're McDonald's, if you're Apple, if you're, like, you don't want to have your ads run anymore on Kimmel because you don't want to be the thing that plays right before or after he says something like this. It's too much.
Well, and there was a line here that this is why I had Lauren bring it up. Thank you. As Carr continues to weaponize the agency to take on critics. So basically you're saying if he does his job, he's weaponizing the agency. Like, what else is the FC supposed to do? FCC. I mean, that's their job, is to regulate what goes out on public airways. And this is the thing I had to argue about with people before. Now, here's the thing, though. In this instance, I don't know if they have as much to stand on as they did last time. That's the problem. Because last time, it was on his show in front of a live audience, however you want to put it, and he was obfuscating the truth, and it could lead many to believe something that wasn't true. See, and that's where the issue had come in. And as we pointed out before, because a lot of people pointed out, well, CNN reports stuff and MSNBC and Fox News and da-da-da-da. The difference is they're on cable. That's not regulated the same way as broadcast television is. The FCC regulates broadcast television, and believe you me, they have a right to oversee just about anything that has anything to do with taste, nudity, violence, language, all that kind of stuff. Okay? If they decide they want to come after you and fine you for something, it's going to happen. Before it was just a threat. Now it sounds like they're being serious. And I don't know where this was during a correspondence dinner. So was this broadcast on
this was prior channel? This was prior to the correspondence dinner. This was it's a mock correspondence dinner. It was recorded on Thursday.
So when
2 days before the correspondence dinner? Thursday night.
So this was on his actual show again?
Yes.
So he didn't actually say this to her live. This was just
no. It's fake to have her.
Okay.
Right. Now here's the thing.
The thing is you think he'd been walking this tightrope already. You would think he was want to back off. Yeah.
No, he was empowered because he thought he was uncancelable or he's a martyr.
Because you're right. Because the advertisers are the ones who hold the ultimate power here.
Right. We need to be fully transparent here and let everybody know that we have been cited. That Park Place, the website that I own and run and the company, that Park Place under Marvin Montanaro has been cited by the FCC. As they have gathered their resources, their investigation into Disney when it comes to this particular story. So thatparkplace.com was cited for revealing and reporting on the situation at some of the Disney entities, such as ABC, where they may have been hiring based on race, gender, bedroom preferences, that sort of thing, and then giving raises to their C-suite based on that sort of thing.
That's a big no-no. Yeah.
It's a big no-no, and that's part of what this FCC investigation would be into. But one thing, here's where I'd like to bring the conversation full circle. If we go back to the Sun article right here, ABC execs are ready to pull Jimmy Kimmel's show again over the late night, host controversial comments about Melania Trump. I find it interesting, guys, that the Hollywood trades are praising Disney. They're running a victory lap, and they're not talking about what the Sun is saying, which is Disney's pulling promo ads. And networks are being ordered to pull the promo ads. Why would the Hollywood trades refuse to report this unless they're trying to say, hey, Disney, do what we want you to do. We're not going to report what's happening. Roses and sunshine, Disney, roses and sunshine, do what we're saying to do. Lauren, I'll give it to you. What do you think?
I think the whole situation is coming to a head in a way that I didn't expect. And I think I see people in the comments that are reporting some squeamishness, they think, with the FCC. I think it's important to underscore what Tom said, which is that the FCC has jurisdiction over this because the public airwaves are a public resource. And if you are granted license to use those frequencies, the idea is that you have to be reporting or broadcasting in the public interest. And in this case, it skirts kind of close to what he did the last time, in which the last time he was saying something that was demonstrably false and everybody knew it. In this case, you could make the argument that by presenting this as though he were at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, even though it was a joke, he's presenting an image that is not correct. And I think the most egregious thing to me about what Kimmel's doing here when he came out the night after the attempt is trying to make this claim that he was obviously making a joke about Trump's age. That is complete BS. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that he has complete I don't know what you
Well, the
disgust.
stupidity of it was he should have owned it, right? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. And this is what I was getting at. This joke here shouldn't have warranted the FCC so much as the last joke did. See, because the last time it was more or less a slap on the wrist saying, don't let it happen again. Now, this time it's basically like, the problem is they've cried wolf so many times on this crap. You know, they say so much stuff in the public that when it does happen, they act like, oh, it's such a big deal. It's like, well, it's probably because you guys should have been stopped sooner. So I don't blame some people for going like, you know, this is a little overkill, because it kind of is. But at this point, I can kind of understand where they're coming from. It's like, you were already warned once, right? And you're doing it again. And again, like I said, this doesn't really fall into the same technical category, because in its context, even if he meant it the other way, it's still a joke, and it's not like he's inciting it. Unlike the other situation where he was misrepresenting and mischaracterizing the assassin, right? Like that's the issue that a lot of people were noting and pointing out.
I think we may have to clarify something here, and you're going to have to correct me if I'm wrong on this, Pro, because there's been a lot of forks in this conversation. I don't think that, because one of the aspects of this story is that the FCC is calling for ABC to basically recertify their broadcast license. They're going to be looking into them to determine whether or not they're going to continue to get that license extended. But it is not related to the comments that occurred the night before this attempt. It's actually still related to their DEI practices that they were still engaging in.
That's correct. Yep.
That's
this mirrors,
the media is trying to tie the two together, is what you're trying to say.
Yes,
and this mirrors the Disney World situation, where the Disney company had this huge, crazy advantage in Florida, and everybody had just let it be because it's such a pain to unravel it. And then Disney decided, oh, we're going to become this political entity, and we're going to take on and fight Ron DeSantis. And then all of a sudden, the Florida Republicans said, by golly, I think we will look at this whole Disney World. You get to govern yourselves. You can build nuclear power plants and airports. You're a company. You should never be able to do that. This is the same kind of thing where, yeah, you did. It seems like you did hire based on race and gender and sexual preference. You may have also not hired based on religious preferences. Yeah, we might look at that now because you are making yourselves into such clowns. And here we go. And, you know, cell phone by Disney, cell phone. Ladies and gentlemen, the big news, though, what you need to take away from all of this, remember, decisions are happening behind the scenes. Actions are taking place. And the Sun is reporting that they have insiders at Disney, insiders at ABC that say promos are being pulled, decisions are being made. The Hollywood trade's trying to stop it. But we're telling you, Disney is not quite yet ready to drop him. But they may after the sweeps. Put this baby to bed. This video is over. Turn off the lights, but not quite yet, folks, because we do ask one final thing before we say goodbye, and that is, would you consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it and stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. Also greatly appreciated, anytime you would like to share this out on your favorite social media platforms, well, we would love that. And we'd also love to hear your thoughts. Folks, drop a comment down below and use that beautiful mind of yours. If you would not mind, we'd love to know what you're thinking. Also, if you would like to become a member of the channel, it's as simple as clicking the join button. It is the price of a soda per month, and you'll gain access to all kinds of new, cool, exclusive information. Folks, until the next time we have the honor of spending time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.